Guys, this is Prasant here from Tech Answered, and in the last tutorial we saw 5 commands: curl, ls, tail and head, cat and ps command. In this tutorial we are going to see the remaining 5 commands that will eventually sum up the top 10 Linux commands that every Linux sysadmin should must know. So without further ado, let's get started. So the next command that we are going to see is called as touch command. Using touch command, we can create a file in Linux system. So let us say I want to create a file called as FileZ. Okay. So I just have to give touch space FileZ and it will create a file. Okay. Now what if my requirement is to create a file inside directory 1? So I can go to directory 1 by doing cddir1. Okay, and here I can create a file using touch command. But instead of doing that, what else I can do is that from this directory, okay, from desktop directory only, I can create file using touch command like this one, touch dir1 slash, and I can give the name of file. So I can just give name of file that you need to create. Okay, so now if you see inside dir1, the file will get created. Okay, so I'm going to dir1 and you can see this file, which is name of file, has got created. Okay, similarly we have mkdir command. So using mkdir command we can create directories. So let me create a directory and then we can verify. Okay, so the command that we are going to use is mkdir say dir. Okay, so now let us say if we have a dir, so now you can see dir directory is created. So you can also do multi-level nesting of directory creation using using mkdir. So what we are going to do is mkdir -p. Okay, and here I am going to write dir1. Okay, then I will give slash, then I will give dir2. Okay, then I will give dir3. So my intention here is that I am already inside dir directory, and if I try to run mkdir-p dir123, it will create 3 directories. The first directory is dir1, and the second directory which will be inside dir1 will be dir2, and third directory is dir3 which will be inside dir2. So now if I just hit enter, you can see the directory 1 got created, and if I go inside directory 1, you can see directory 2 will be there, and if I go inside directory 2, you can see directory 3 will be there. Okay, so this is how we can use touch command and mkdir command to create files and directories in Linux system. The next command that we are going to see is called as rm command. Okay, so this command is used to remove files and directories in Linux machine. So let us see the uses of rm command. Okay, so now I am at desktop location. You can see this is the desktop location, and I have created a file just before, which is FileZ. And if I want to remove this file, I can just write rm and I will give FileZ command. Okay, it will remove the file. So now file is removed. What else we can do with rm command? If we try to delete dir, okay, so we have just created directory which is dir, and what if I want to delete it? So I can just write dir and let us see if it is able to delete or not. So now you can see it is telling you dir is a directory, it cannot delete. So if I try to write using rm dir, then dir, okay, directory not empty. So using rmdir, you can delete a directory, but only thing is that that directory should be empty. Okay. So now it is not empty. So what we can do is that we can go inside dir, okay, and then we can go inside dir1, okay, and then we can go inside dir2, and here we know that inside dir3 there is nothing. Okay, dir3 is basically blank, so you can see here. So let me just try to run rmdir command just to give you demo that rmdir command works effectively. Okay, so now I gave rmdir. Okay, so now directory 3 was empty, that is why it is able to execute rmdir command without any issue. Okay, now I am back in dir1, and dir2 has no content inside it, no folders, no files, anything. If I just run rmdir, it will be able to delete directory 2. But instead of doing this one by one, it is better if I use some more commands along with rm. Okay, so I can use rm-r, okay, and I can delete the directory itself. Okay, so now I can just write dir and it will delete the directory. If you want forceful removal of some files or some directories for which you do not have write permission, so you can use rm-rf as well. Okay, but the use of rm-rf is a little bit discouraged because it will it in your professional environment it can delete a lot of unnecessary data also. So whenever you are running rm-rf command, please be little bit careful. Okay, so here rm-r means recursive, means all the directories and subdirectories inside dir will get deleted, and -f is forceful deletion. Okay, so if I just run this one, so the directory along with all of its contents, folders, subfolders inside this directory got deleted. The next command that we are going to see is called as tar command. So tar stands for tape archive, and it is especially important if you want to carry a couple of folders or files, and you can create a tar ball on one server, and you can copy and migrate all this tar ball to another server, and there you can extract the data. Okay, so let us see how we can create a tar file. Okay, so for example, right now I want to create a tar file, so I can just give tar-cvf. I can give the name of tar file. So the name of tar file is name1, okay, .tar, and then I want to copy this dir1 folder. So let me copy this folder. Okay, let me paste it here. Now what will happen that when I run this command, this tar file will get created, and the contents of dir1 will go inside name1.tar. So now you can see this thing happened. If you want to see what are the if you want to append tar file, okay, means if you want to add more information in this tar, so you can just give similar commands, but this time we are just giving uvf instead of cvf. Okay, and I want to add a file f in this tar, so I can just add this, write this command, and I can create, and tar file got created. Now what if I want to extract the tar? So before extracting tar, I am just creating a folder. Okay, so it is a temporary folder which I am creating, and now what I will do is that I can extract the tar inside this one. Okay, so what I will do is that I will copy this tar. So this name1.tar I will copy inside temp folder. Now let me try to go to temp folder. Okay, and here let me try to extract. So for extraction of tar, you can use tar xpf, x for extraction, and you can just give the name of tar. It is as simple as that. Okay, just after I gave the tar file extracted here, so now you can see the contents of this dir1. So now you can see when this tar file was extracted, dir1 and f got created. In order to know more details about tar command, I have already made a dedicated video on the tar command, so please go and check that out. The next command that we are going to see is called as uname command. Okay, this uname command is the most commonly used command to determine the process architecture, okay, the system host name, and the version of kernel running on the system. So there are various options with uname that you can try. So if you use man uname, you can get to know all the information about uname, what all information it will display. Okay, so if you use uname -a, it will print all the information in the following order. It will print kernel name, node name, kernel release, kernel version, machine, processor, okay, and it will display all the information. So instead of just try to run uname -m to know the machine name, I can run uname -a to know all the details of the things. Okay, so I just run uname -a, and now you can see all the information. It is available here. It is showing me type of machine, then my host name, okay, then the Linux kernel versions and other details, and then it is telling me x64, x86, okay, means whether it is I am using 32-bit or 64-bit. So it is displaying all the informations. So it is displaying the node name, kernel release, kernel version, machine name, processor details, okay, hardware platform, and then it is also telling about the operating system. So this is the uname command that you can use in your system to know more details about your system. Okay, so we can just run uname also, okay, and it will tell you the kind of system that you have. It is Linux system. The next command that we are going to see will give you more information about your Linux machines. Okay, for example, if you are to check your Linux configuration, so what you can do is that you can use less command to see, okay, and you can use etc release. Okay, so it will tell you not release, okay, it will say you can do red hat release. Okay, so it will tell you, because this is a red hat system, you can check the configuration in red hat release. So it will show you red hat enterprise Linux server 6.4, okay, along with the distribution. So in case of if you are working on SLES 12 or SP4, so you can check this using etc, and then it is OS release. You can get to know more details about the OS. Right now this command will not work for me because right now I am on Red Hat. Okay, If you want to know information about your CPU, how many CPUs are configured, what is the frequency of that CPU, okay, so you can do that using this file. Okay, so using proc and CPU info you can get the details. Okay, so now you can see it is telling you all the processor. If your system has 20 processors, so it will show processor 0 up to processor 19, means 0 to 19, total 20 processors will be visible. And you can see vendor ID is Intel. Okay, and you can see CPU megahertz is 2.5 gigahertz, and you can see cache size and FPU and other all the details from here. Okay, so this is information that you can get about CPU info. Okay, if you want to know about the total available RAM on your machine, so you can use free-g command. It will tell you total available RAM. Okay, so since it is a virtual machine in my case, that is why it is not showing in correct order. Okay, it is showing just 1 GB. Basically I made a virtual machine of around 2 GB. Okay, there was some mistake in configuration, so I can also make a video on how to install a virtual machine on your existing computer. So please let me know if you want to do that. So guys, these are the top 10 Linux commands that every sysadmin should know in order to work efficiently on their machines and in their enterprise applications. If you like my content, please make sure to like, share and subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. Thank you so much guys. Take care. I'll see you in next video.